I leave. I just have this feeling in my gut, and I'm like, we've been kind of arguing. Let me just go check on him and just let him know that I'm still in this. I know that things have been really stressful, but I'm still in this. I'm still willing to try if he is.
Right.
So I go to the place that he was at the time. He was house sitting for a family member, and when I pull up, I have a friend of mine with me. When I pull up, I see this young African American young lady coming out of this apartment complex because, again, he's house sitting.
So I want to go back to just the beginning part of this process, which started with your first marriage.
Yes. How a betrayal ended up turning into one of my biggest blessings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
First marriage.
That might be the title.
Yeah.
So tell the people of God about what happened.
So, my oldest son's father, Caden, him and I met in high school. And it's really kind of crazy because this is the part of the testimony that you don't always share. But yeah, so a lot of times when we find ourselves in certain situations, we don't always realize that it be us reaping the seed that we sowed. Okay. So when I met Caden's dad, he wasn't dating a friend of mine, but he was heavily talking to a friend of mine. Yeah. To my knowledge, they wasn't like, being physical with one another, but they were talking to each other. I won't give that whole testimony because, that's still, even though her and I aren't as close anymore, I still want to, protect her confidentiality. But the two of them were kind of talking. He was talking to several other people. She had other friends as well. Nothing that I thought she was too serious about, you know. And so him and I started out as friends. Like genuine platonic friends. There was nothing romantic. I didn't find him attractive that way. I mean, he was a handsome guy, but he just wasn't the type of guy that I would like to talk to.
Right.
I guess I had a type. I didn't know, but I guess I had a type. And although he was attractive, like it's physically was attractive, personality wise, him and I were a little bit different. So I wasn't attracted to him that way. So started getting to know him, and I'm like, this dude is hilarious. He is funny. And then over the several months, we became good friends. And I don't remember what happened. I think I went through something that was really, really hard, and he kind of sort of caught me, like in that vulnerable moment, and he was there for me. And then before I knew it, I was like, I think I like him. Oh my God, what is this? And so I went to the friend, and I said, hey, me and Jeremy, we've been real cool or whatnot, and which you have known about, but I think I'm starting to like him. Is it okay that I talk to him that way? And initially she was like, girl, yes, I'm not studying him like that. Talk to him if you like him. So 6 months passed. Okay. She comes back and she's like, you know what? I don't think I like the idea of y'all being together. And so, I'm not comfortable with it. But I'm like, baby girl,
too deep. Yeah.
We in love. I'm planning our marriage. What you mean? I gave you this opportunity way back then. And I hate to say dismissive, but I did. I told her right then on the phone, I'm like, girl, I called you 6 months ago. I'm in love with this dude now. Like, I'm legit planning our wedding 10th grade.
Not in 10th grade.
10th grade, 11th grade, maybe. 10th grade. I'm planning our wedding. I'm like, babe, it's too late. I like him now. So you kind of going to have to
get over it.
Get over it and deal with those feelings and emotions. It was tough. It was hard. But fast forward, him and I are together. We're teenagers. There's a lot of back and forth. We go together, and she go with him too, and she go with him too. It was a lot of that. Again, we're kids. Back then, I thought it was the end of the world, but now, like, he was a kid. So, fast forward, him and I I found myself pregnant. I was 17 years old when I found out I was pregnant. Um, and I'm graduating high school. It was my senior year. Um, him and I, my oldest son has a heart condition called transposition of the great vessels. It's a very rare heart condition. A lot of people, unfortunately, don't make it, and those who do have to go through a lot of different things. And my son has had to go through a lot of those things. So fast forward, we found out about Caden's heart surgery. They were trying to wait until he was like 2 or 3 months old. But at 2 weeks old, he started having complications, and they're like, "We're not going to be able to wait that long. We actually need to operate." It was Wednesday. We actually need to operate Friday, and I'm like, "Okay." He wasn't on any insurance. There was somebody that came to us and was like, he was on Medicaid. They were like, "Hey, if you want your baby to get the best treatment, I know his dad is military. This stranger, now I know that was a worker of the enemy, comes and says, if you go and get married, the two of you can be added to his insurance that same day." So we go.
That's his kid. He could be on the insurance regardless.
Well, we had to have a lengthy process though. Like you had to
Okay.
have the birth certificate. He was only 5 days old. I didn't know it wasn't making, like, all I knew was that there was pressure, and we were trying to find the fastest way for him to get on his insurance. Oh, we would have had to prove paternity. And so they were like, "Hey, just do this and you can be on the insurance the same day." So we went to Mobile. Mobile marries at 18. You don't have to have any, I'm pretty sure anybody does marry at 18. So we went, we had some witnesses, we got married. We left Mobile. We went to, mind you, Caden is in New Orleans. So we left New Orleans, went to Mobile, got married, came to Biloxi, turned in the marriage certificate at the Deers Center. They gave him all of the information back. We took it to the hospital. He was on his insurance. They back paid all the way from the day he was born. So move past that. Him and I, we're married now. And mind you, I just told you about the situation with my friend. So I had this young lady that I was really good friends with. She was really there for me. She was actually there with me when I found out I was pregnant with Kaden. Her and I were really close. I didn't think that there was nothing, no animosity, no anything. It was kind of weird that right after high school, I didn't hear from her for a long time. Like, her and I were like super inseparable. And then I didn't hear from her for a long time. But then she kind of resurfaced. But by this time, she was in the military, also in the Air Force. She had ended up getting stationed right back in Biloxi. And so, well, not stationed, I think that was where her tech school was. So I started getting back in contact with her, and she started like telling me little things that she had met this guy, and she was thinking that she was falling in love with him, and she used this little code name that it was just strange because I'd never put the two together, because this is my friend, and although my ex used to, do his little thing, I just didn't think, you know. So she started giving me little hints like, "Oh, I'm in love with this guy." She made up this name, and it just so happened that the name that she made up was a alter ego type name of my ex. But I never put the two together. I'm thinking this is a real person. Super duper fast forward. I'm leaving the basketball game one day. Talk more into the mic. Okay. Okay. So I leave this. So super duper fast forward. I go to this basketball game. Him and I kind of like arguing, but like the baby is finally home. Caden's finally home. This is like one of my first outings because he spent 5 months in the hospital, and so this is one of my first outings since I've been back, since I've had him. Go to this basketball game. He leaves. I call my friend. I'm like, "Hey, you just graduated tech school. Let's hang out. Let me treat you to some dinner or something like that." She's like, "Oh, I'm doing some stuff with some family." And I leave. I just have this feeling in my gut, and I'm like, we've been kind of arguing. Let me just go check on him and just let him know that I'm still in this. I know that things have been really stressful, but I'm still in this. I'm still willing to try if he is.
Right.
So I go to the place that he was at the time. He was house sitting for a family member, and when I pull up, I have a friend of mine with me. When I pull up, I see this young African American young lady coming out of this apartment complex because, again, he was house sitting. And I wouldn't normally be shocked or surprised, but the neighbors across the street was older Caucasian people.
Yeah.
And the people, I mean, not across the street, across the hall was older Caucasian people. And the only other person that lived up there was his family member. So, and he out of town. So, why is this young, beautiful African American lady coming down the stairs when nobody's supposed to be up there but him and this older Caucasian couple?
Right.
So I'm like, oh, okay. But I'm parked way away.
Right.
So I'm walking and I'm realizing, wait, that's his car. And why that young lady look like she walking to his car? So now I'm walking faster. She opened up the door. Why is she opening up the door to his car? It's not my husband's car. It's not, because we're not boyfriend and girlfriend. We're married. And so it's not registering to me. I'm knowing there's an urgency in my body, but still I'm having a hard time computing because there's no way possible that, like, we was not seeing eye to eye, but we wasn't doing that bad, I ain't think. And so I finally catch up. I'm talking about, I think I turned on supersonic flash speed.
Yeah.
And so I finally make it to the car. I open up the door and I say, oh, and I say her name because I see at that point that it's her. And I'm like,
okay, who is her?
My friend.
Your best friend.
My best friend at that time. Not the young lady that he was seeing in the past. Totally different.
No.
Yes, a whole new person. Years have gone by. Yes, this is the girl who is my best friend who I just called, and she said, no, I can't hang out tonight.
Because I got family.
Because my family is going to take me out to celebrate. And so I was like, wow. I don't even know what happened. I remember my neighbors, I tried to drive, but I was so hysterical. I couldn't, so I had to pull over and get out the car. I started walking the rest of the way to my mom's house. And I remember somewhere at the top of my mom's street, still kind of sort of on Dito Road, I'm screaming, girl. Like, I'm screaming. I can't even breathe. I'm screaming. I remember, like, collapsing, and the next thing I know, I'm on my mama's bed. And she's like, what's wrong with her? What's wrong? My neighbors had to come and get me and take me into the house. I was probably a little dramatic, but at that time I thought my life was ending. Yeah. You know, like,
you got a baby
with a heart condition that I've been super stressed out about. I'm watching this dude's heart beat like